Hello and welcome to Western Wisconsin Journal. This is my third segment of the new show, and I'm very happy to introduce to you someone you might possibly know already, a very familiar figure in this community, John Potter from the Phipps Center for the Arts. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Bobby.
He is the executive director. He's been in our community for quite a few years now, and I think he's done a superb job running the Phipps Center. And I must say, I enjoyed it so much when I was on the board with you.
I'm pleased to hear that. We have to get you back on.
I guess I might have to say that the only thing no, I won't say that. Remember the financial reports? No, we won't go there. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. And I do think it is a gem in our community. I'm sure most of you listening have been there, but we'd like to tell you about the new series. So John, let's see, what should we start with here? What is coming up this summer that's really interesting?
I'm so glad you've got the season brochure out here, so that makes it easy for both of us.
Yes, it does.
We are opening our season actually with an event called Sirens of the 60s, which is just what the name implies. It's Colleen Ray and her sister and Katie Garrity, who is not the Katie Garrity from Hudson. So it's Colleen and Debbie O'Keefe and Katie Garrity will be performing all the hits of the 60s that you know and love by female vocalists. And that'll be on June 18. We'll have 2 shows. And then we have Back to the 80s. Do you sense a theme here?
Yes.
That show will open, it's a musical, will open on July 15. And Back to the 80s is kind of Grease set in the 80s. So it takes place at a high school with this flimsy little plot that actually allows all the great hits by Madonna and A-ha and well, I'm lost as to who the great hits of the 80s were produced by, but it's a really fun show, cast of about 30. It's almost cast, and we are looking very forward to that.
Oh, what fun, and musicals are just my favorites.
Indeed.
I always enjoy them, and the music of the 80s, I'm sure that'll speak to a lot of people.
You know, there's a group in the Drama Council, the young ones, that said we've got to do this show. Now, some of us older ones weren't as excited about it, but then they convinced us. So it'll be very much fun.
And who's directing?
Casey Chanel is directing this one, and Casey has done several shows for us, and her most recent hit was just this last spring, and I'm blanking on it. That's terrible. It'll come to me in a minute. Dixie Swim Club, there. Can't we edit this?
She invited me personally on Facebook, and I did say to her that I'd like to promote it, and now it's over.
But she's got another one coming up.
Oh, good. And she does a very fine job.
She does.
With her directing.
She does indeed.
So that's part of the summer.
So that kicks off the season for us, and then in the theater series we have a spoof of the classic Agatha Christie mysteries, and that's called Bloody Murder. We'll have that in September. My Fair Lady will be our November offering, the classic musical with all the great numbers in it. I Could Have Danced All Night, and On the Street Where You Live, and it goes on and on. Then the Children's Theater will be performing Alice in Wonderland in February. And then a show that we have never done, believe it or not, The Miracle Worker. So it's that inspirational story of Helen Keller and her struggles and her triumphs, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful show, and I think our audience will really enjoy it.
That's a wonderful accomplishment if we can do that, and I think what a great story.
It is indeed.
And the Alice in Wonderland was really popular this year, last year when Johnny Depp was playing in it.
Sorry to see, I didn't see that one. Did you happen to see it?
I did see it.
Very good.
It was quite well done and very unusual. some different twists and turns. But
Ours might not be quite that unusual, but
yeah, it'll be more like the traditional,
exactly.
I would think. Okay, and then, oh, that's a lovely musical too. And I always like the mysteries there.
This is a fun one. It starts out, you're going to think that you know all the characters and what's going to transpire, and then there's a few twists and turns.
Oh, good, and I'm just imagining the set right now. Those are some of my favorite sets
Oh,
of the Phipps.
Very nice.
The old English type.
Yes, indeed. That's exactly what it will be.
Oh boy, that's going to be fun. So those are your theater offerings, and plus we gave you a summer suggestion for the Sirens of the 60s. And then what else should we talk about? Music?
Well, the music series, we are bringing back Dee Wu. She's a lovely, young, extremely talented pianist in her mid-20s who graduated from Juilliard just a couple years ago. We had her on our series then, and she's been winning awards ever since, and so she'll be back in November. The Wisconsin Brass Quintet from the University of Wisconsin-Madison will be returning in February, and they're always popular, just an outstanding ensemble. Accordo is a relatively recent string ensemble made up of members of the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra.
Oh, yes.
And they'll be performing in March. They've only done a couple of performances in the Twin Cities, so we're delighted to have them on our series. And then the American Swedish Institute Spelmanslag, the fiddlers and their ensemble will be returning in May. And even though they're Swedish, I know that you enjoy their music.
Yes. One of my mother's best friends was Swedish. I don't discriminate, and I do love that style of music, the folk music of Sweden and Norway and so on.
It will make you tap your feet.
Yes, and
sure.
I believe we have dancers coming?
We do, yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
They'll be returning with dancers.
Wow. I love that kind of music, so that's going to be perfect. Now, I did want to just go back 1 minute. Was it Accordo?
Yes.
Stephen Copes is a name that our audience might recognize.
Yes, he's the the concert master of the SPCO, and
yes.
He put together this ensemble, actually.
Oh, and he is just so outstanding.
He is.
His solos are amazing. And I don't know if you were at the last oratorio.
Of course.
You will recognize the percussionist that was playing for the Messiah when I was singing in Messiah with the oratorio. This is the same young man.
It is.
And I think he's winning some awards. And
I don't know that much about him, so
I had heard that he was very making a name for himself, and of course I can't think of his name right now.
Nor can I.
But when you look at the brochure, be sure you stop by and get a brochure, because it's all laid out for you. And that's going to be just a wonderful offering. And then we go to organ.
Our organ series features some favorites and some new favorites as well. Ron Rosset will be returning in the fall. Ron is from Milwaukee. And then Ken Double will be doing a holiday concert for us and accompanying the silent film A Christmas Carol.
Oh,
so we've never done that before. Then hot young organist, again in his early 20s, Jonathan Ortloff, is from out east. He just graduated from the Eastman School. Ooh. And he'll be performing a variety of selections in January. And then Charlie Baylog from Arizona will be returning after several seasons' absence for another varied program in March. And then Dennis James, that wild man, is coming back in May, and he has a silent film series about automobiles. So it'll be chases and crashes and races, and all on the theme of vintage autos. So.
Oh my, that should be attractive to a lot of people.
It'll be a lot of fun, yes.
And then the organ, wasn't that renovated recently?
We, maybe 3 years ago, received a new organ console that allowed us to simply plug it into our new computerized system.
Oh,
So all of the installation remains the same. That came from Hubbard Broadcasting and KSTP.
Right.
But the console itself is actually a one-of-a-kind from a theater outside of Boston. And it was the Oriental Theater, and when you see the console, you'll see that they were true to that theme. And it's a beautiful white and gold console that is perfect for our installation now. So the whole system has been computerized, and then on top of that, we're going through each of the chambers and making adjustments here and there, and so it should sound better and better throughout the year.
Wonderful. Those are some very, very good offerings, and I think there's always room, so come in on, most of them are on Sundays, but no, I can't say that. Saturdays, it looks like,
it's true,
is our better day in this brochure. But do check, because they're all weekends. And then we have special events.
And by special events, we simply mean those concerts or events that are not part of our council programming. So we aren't producing this, but we're presenting these concerts. And so there's a variety of activities, starting out with Dances, Chances, Circumstances. That's a community dance concert that we've had. I think this may be our 7th season of doing it, featuring area choreographers and area dancers. And the theme this year is the 7 deadly sins. So that's provocative.
Yes, it is.
And then we'll have the return of a one-man show. I would say it was probably 15 or 16 years ago that John Pinero, who is from Brooklyn but was living in Wisconsin, created a show about Vince Lombardi. And it's simply called Vince, The Life and Times of Vince Lombardi. He has made a name for himself since then, doing it all across the country, and he's been on a couple of Super Bowls as well. And so you may have seen him there. He's a motivational speaker as well, and he now is in LA. He'll be returning in September for a performance of Vince. Pop Wagner returns after a long absence, and he is bringing with him Kevin Anthony and the Twin City Playboys. Now you think, that's an interesting combination. Well, in fact, the Playboys harken back to the Western Swing Playboys. So this is Cajun, Western Swing, Zydeco, blues, and country music. And as Pop says, country music from the days when it still sounded like country music. So it's not as much rock as it is country. So kind of a classic Western sound, and really looking forward to that. The Phipps Festival Chorus will be returning for concerts in early December. Then we have a offering that, again, probably has been 15, 16 years since we've offered an illusionist. And Kristen Trist will be performing large-scale illusions. So his lovely assistant will disappear and reappear and be cut in half and levitated and all those things and more. Then we have for St. Patrick's Day, the day before, March 16, Laura McKenzie will be returning with what she calls the Lads. She'll have a guitarist and percussionist accompanying her. And Laura, as you may remember, plays just about everything. She has wooden flutes and whistles, a concertina, Scottish small pipes, border pipes, French pipes, and she sings as well. So a very, very talented Celtic musician. And then you're very excited, I'm sure, for John Rutter's Requiem.
I am.
Performed by the Oratorio Society, and that will be in April, Palm Sunday. And we'll again be returning to the Bethel Highlands Church for that. We had a great concert up there this spring, and look very forward to returning there.
And the picture in the brochure is just so lovely.
Yes, it's actually a shot of the oratorio performing at the Highlands. So. Yes,
which was the first time ever. And of course, being from Bethel, I'm delighted that we're there. And for many years we were downtown, but we do think the size and of the venue is just very, very pleasant up
Yes.
there.
The acoustics are very good
And
as well.
much easier for the chorus because there's room. Whereas down around the altar, we had a terrible time getting our big groups to fit in there.
It's true.
But I would like to say that John Rudder, his music is very easy to listen to. And you may possibly have heard of or sung some of his anthems, which are extremely popular in the various churches. But this particular requiem does have some of the most lovely music I have heard.
My guess is folks might have heard it and not realized it because it was played often after 9/11.
Oh,
And
yes, that's right.
it's just beautiful.
It is.
Very melodic.
It is, and he is actually the choir director professor at Cambridge. And he's very highly thought of.
Yes, indeed.
And his composing is just very, very intriguing. I think it'd be fun for you to study that a little bit if you're a music novice. And I really enjoy singing his anthems and everything like that. But it's a small orchestra this year, not a big production, and I think it's music that would speak to almost anybody.
I think that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Continuing with the special events, Claudia Schmidt is returning after a long absence. We're delighted to have the singer-songwriter back, and she'll be back in May. And then two area favorites, Cliff Brinzel and the Golden Strings, will be returning in June, and the Barbary Coast Dixieland Show Band will be returning in June as well. So we close the season with two very, very popular ensembles.
Wonderful. Oh, you've got a wonderful season here.
We're very excited about it. Thank you.
Yes, I do think this is going to be a very good year for the Phipps. And I wish only the best. Now, I do want to talk about some season packages.
Oh, I'm delighted that you do.
Yes.
You remind me that
I use them myself.
we do have 3 packages where we allow you to pick either 3 events or 5 events or 7 events. Choose your own, whichever you would prefer, the dates and the times, and we'll give you a discount for those, depending upon how many you choose. So, of course, the 7 events, the tickets work out to $16 each, which is about the best deal you can find, I think, in the Twin Cities area. And then for 3 events, it's still only $18 per ticket. So really, I think a very attractive offering, and it also allows you the best seats in the house because this is a perfect time to make your reservations for these performances.
It's excellent. And that's going on right now, isn't it?
It is.
It has opened, so you can go down there anytime or call, or, you know, and if you do get the brochure, you can fill it out. So
you can do it online.
Any way you want.
You can do it online. You can mail it in. You can fax us or just give us a call. So.
Yeah, and the beauty is, it's amazing to get a concert of any of these things that we've talked about, less than $20. Mm-hmm. So can't go wrong there.
Thank you, Bobby.
And then the other thing that I like is the river cruise package.
Yes.
Would you like to talk about that?
I'd love to. Thanks for pointing that out. For the past several years, we've offered a cruise theater package for our summer Sunday matinees. So you can take a champagne brunch cruise. I think it's at noon, and that's on the Afton House cruise line. And then we combine that with the 2:30 matinee of either Back to the 80s or Bloody Murder in September. So it's a really fun package, and you can put those together by calling Afton House directly.
Oh, okay, and I think I've done that online too.
You can do it online,
very
yes
easy
indeed.
that way.
Yes, indeed.
Now, I just turned the page and I see we didn't talk about everything.
We didn't, but wait, there's more.
But we've got to talk about the Minnesota Orchestra.
Let's do that.
Yes.
I think this is the 24th annual free outdoor performance by the Minnesota Orchestra, and that will be on Monday, June 27th at 7:30 in Lakefront Park, right across from the Phipps Center. And the city and the Parks Department makes it so easy for us to present them, and we are so fortunate to be able to do that. So,
and we haven't been rained out very much.
I think perhaps twice.
Wow, that's amazing in all those years.
It's true.
And it's a top-notch concert and a beautiful setting.
It is. It's just an ideal setting.
And I see it is the week of the 4th.
Yes, it is.
But probably before it gets really busy.
It's before Booster Days.
Yep.
So a great
So
beginning of the week.
And then is there anything else you want to bring up here as far as the offerings?
The Children's Theater will be offering productions in the fall, and then in the spring, as they have always done. We'll have a holiday production as well by the Children's Theater. That's an intergenerational cast. I don't believe they've settled on the title as yet, but those are always very popular. And then Colleen Ray and Company, along with the Minnesota Jazz Orchestra, will be performing on New Year's Eve. So very much in keeping with what we've done probably for the past 15 years or so. And the dance company, the Phipps Dance Company, this might be their 4th season, will be performing in March. They offer a concert of a varied styles of dance, and this is a student dance company comprised of probably area students, say ages 13 to 18, middle school and high school students that have a very strict regimen throughout the entire year, and then culminates with these concerts in March. So very, very talented.
Great, and you must have a lot of students involved in dance
there. We do, yes. There are dozens and dozens. Everything from the little ones taking tap classes to very serious ballet students on point.
Oh, wonderful. And I was thinking about the art offerings this summer. Is it still time to sign up for that or not?
For the members show, is that what you're thinking of?
For the children's art classes?
Oh, yes. Well, two different things.
Go ahead.
Every year, the members of the center, that is anyone who's made a monetary donation during the year, is able to show their work in our members exhibition, and that will be this summer. And then in addition to that, we have a very popular summer art camp.
Right.
And that's offered, say, mid-June through mid-August. We do have, actually, several classes are already sold out. We're at capacity, but we have many more that are available.
Good.
So we'd love to have you take a look at those, and there's offerings for 1 day or 1 week, and you can take classes throughout the entire summer. So lots of folks will pick and choose throughout the summer as to what they're interested in, or have the grandkids take part in it when they're visiting. So
I was just talking to a parent today that mentioned, and I wasn't thinking about how soon that is coming up.
Just a couple weeks.
It's not that far away.
Not at all.
Wow. So we've covered everything.
We have. You're amazing.
Be sure you get your brochure, because there's so much here, and there's such enjoyable offerings. You really want to take part in that. Now, I had one other question, and that is because we're always looking for volunteers.
It's true.
And what a wonderful way to spend, part of your summer or your year volunteering at the Phipps. So could you tell us what's available?
I'd be happy to. Thank you so much for asking. We rely on volunteers for almost everything that we do, and you're well aware we have over 1,000 volunteer positions during the course of a season, filled by 500 to 600 volunteers. So it's kind of amazing as to how many and the variety of things that we're doing. So in the ticket office, the folks that you call to purchase a season ticket, those are all volunteers. The folks that sent out the brochures are volunteers. The folks that you'll meet that will show you to your seat or take your ticket, volunteers. The folks backstage in the control booth, the folks that are in the shop that made the set or painted the set or made the props, All of those are volunteers. We have a full-time technical director that supervises those activities.
Oh, yes.
Every aspect of the folks that chose the season are all volunteers.
That's right.
Serving on various committees of season selection. So everything we do has a volunteer component to it. The folks that choose the gallery offerings and then actually put the shows together are all volunteers.
It's a very well-oiled machine, and the different councils are very involved. And if you have a interest in something like that, everything we've talked about has a council, and we're always looking for more people that way too, to give your input. But I can't imagine a better thing than just being an usher for a day, and then you get to sit in and watch part of the production yourself.
There's perks.
And it's great. And that computerized board up there, everybody's so afraid of it, but it's really the tech guy that does it. And then all you do is go up and run with the lights and a few things.
Yes,
it's all programmed. And are we talking Mark Koski now?
We are. Mark
we really
is our
should
technical
say
director.
That Mark does a fabulous job.
He does indeed.
And goodness, he's doing a lot down there. Besides that, he's also doing sets, scenery, acting.
You'll see him on stage, yes.
Sometimes I just, it really is quite entertaining to see him up there acting in his various roles. Like, wasn't he Captain Von Trapp one time?
He was. He was.
And I just enjoyed that so much because it's a whole different character for him.
Yes, indeed.
Really. So I must say, it's alive and well, and everything's going so well for you.
Well, you're very kind. It's
and I really think a lot of it is due to you, your expertise. So
there's, as I appreciate that, but as I mentioned, we have 500 to 600 volunteers on an annual basis, and those are the folks that really make it work.
Someone at the top to direct it all, and you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you for that, Bobby.
So I do want to thank you for coming in today.
My great pleasure.
And I hope we get some calls and some questions, and you can always call the FIPS at 386-2305, or what is the box office?
386-8409.
And be sure you stop down there, even if you're just going to visit the gift shop or the galleries. And they're usually open certain hours or during shows, before and during shows, so you can get in there to see the artwork. And be sure you
have a
stop
chance
there.
to talk about that, so we'll have to get Anastasia.
But I have to say, that's something I enjoy. It's always good to go through those galleries.
It is.
And it is a wonderful location. I just enjoy going there myself. When it opened, I still can remember some of the first concerts and offerings were just so astounding that I just knew it was going to be a big hit in this town, and it is. So thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you, Bobby.
I don't know, it's been 4 or 5 times now.
It's true.
You're always welcome to come back.
Thank you.
And we hope you enjoyed the interview today, and we hope you'll take some time to go down to the FIPS and enjoy it. Thank you very much.